All right. Well, we have a giveaway on my debut horror novel, Level Zero, released in 2021 today on the Kindle store. And I just thought I would do a one time only Dan McDowell read through on Chapter 6. So let's go. Just beneath the hotel, Creeper Joe Bonsall lurked the faded Oak Hollow property's abandoned tunnels. He was not a towering presence, nor did he possess notable girth. His skin became paler with time as he remained confined and away from the familiar scorch of the Texas sun. Isolation stripped the vivid blueness from his eyes. They now matched his pupils, and he had a pronounced hobble. He was dressed in a shredded burgundy-toned bellhop uniform, ragged with scraps missing and chewed into by rats and years of wear and tear. Dust lingered in his pores, refusing to wash away despite many tireless efforts. He sat in silence, waiting for his next assignment. From the one who kept him captive, the shadow. Tormenting voices whispered in his head, one after the other. "Forever trapped, you damned fool. You never listened, and you'll never leave. Your mother's disgusted with you, now and forever." The shadow emerged. "You should have listened. You know what this place is?" "A subway tunnel," Joe uttered in dejection. "No, you're mistaken. It's much more than just a tunnel, and we both know it." Joe remained silent. His look hinted at the tantalizing isolation he faced in his earlier years. "It's a gamble messing with the likes of you, Joe," the shadow said. "Thing is, I'm tired of seeing these tunnels so devoid of life. Sylvia and the other restless 53 are out of the way, and the folly business has dried up." They walked through the tunnel side by side until Joe separated himself, pulling further away from his captor. "We'll turn this tunnel into a lair, a proper resting place for all 54 of them," the shadow said. "Leaving them to haunt the hotel would not be fair to Chris after he signed the dotted line. They've toiled for ages in the lobby up top, waiting for a redeemer. A redeemer, Joe." He kept on. "As long as you play by my rules, I'll help you get them here. But you'll have to capture them. Let me be clear. I forbid you from taking out your rage like you have in the past. You've been damned in here a long while, and you know something? That was all your doing. I'm gonna let you loose." "I've been trapped. Maybe I deserved it," Joe replied. They came toward a waterfall. Joe dunked his head into the spring just beneath to exit the conversation. His face and movements became youthful and recharged as he came up from beneath. "That's better," the shadow said. "The spring of life will have its way. Don't expect involvement from me beyond giving them a nudge. We can't keep welcoming ghosts down here. It wouldn't be right. Get Chris more invested in the property up top. Leave him a few breadcrumbs, and as for the tunnel, I'll leave that to you. We'll give these weary souls what they deserve, a second chance at life. Not in 1928, but in 1982, linking them up with 54 of the most vegetative beings on this side of the grave. I needn't say more." Joe remained uncertain of the future. The tunnel could be a place for joy and for sorrow, two absolutes well solidified in his mind for years as he remained far from civilization. This sentiment was not all dark and sinister, and neither was he. But when nightfall struck, he struggled to control his sick impulses, a problem carried since his youth in an unraveling ritual that was always the same. He would light a fire in the tunnel, chanting unfamiliar words as he circled around it in a way that only he could, speaking in a glossolalia that grew louder and louder with time until he'd fall to the floor unconscious. This was all in a momentary darkness in the brain that led to the hours where the creeper within him and the darkest parts of Oak Hollow came to life. Their entanglement remained incomprehensible, But youthful defiance came at a cost. Life was different, and he remained trapped in a state of being far worse, in a fate that would lead him to places he should never again go. Joe Bonsall's rapid decline from being a spry, seeing young man to a tormented, lifeless soul gnawed away at him without mercy for years, like a rotting wood susceptible to the worst of termites. Level 0. Grab your copy on the Kindle store today. It's free.